Good morning, everyone. How are you all? First of all, a big round of applause for everyone. So let's clap. Now you ask me why? Because you've woken up so early and come to class. Thank you so much. So welcome to the IPCC class, where we are going to start off with our paper 3, which is Cost and Management Accounting. Now, I am sure you have heard a lot about this subject, correct, from your peers, from your seniors, correct? Some of you are direct entry students here, right? So some of you are doing your articleship, correct? So in your office, a lot of people would have told you a lot of things about this subject, correct? Some of you may have apprehensions about this subject. Don't worry, okay? Whatever apprehensions you have, we will try to address everything, but a little later. Okay, before we start off with today's class, let me give you a small introduction about myself. My name is CA Kriti Goel, okay, and I completed my CA in 2011. So, a small history. I was actually a science student, okay, so I did my PCMB, but then I didn't like science that much, and I didn't know what to do. And that's when my dad said one day very casually to me, why don't you try CA? So that's when I realized, okay, I'll do CA. I didn't know what CA was. Okay. But a lot of people told me not to take up the course because I was from a science background. It would become very hard for me to cope up. But then I didn't want to continue with science. And that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to take up CA. And that's when my journey began. Well, it has been an amazing journey so far. It is one of the most prestigious courses of the country. Yes, very difficult. There's no misleading there. But it is very, very fruitful. Tomorrow when you're a CA, you will realize the benefits of doing this course. Okay? So, yes, it was very hard for me because at least you all know debit credit, right? Yeah, I didn't even know debit credit when I started off with my CPT. Okay, but it involves a lot of hard work, lot of dedication. For 5-6 years, it was just hard work and hard work. Nevertheless, became a chartered accountant in 2011, okay, in my first attempt. So, after becoming a CA, I joined Reliance Vision Express and I worked as the audit lead for 2.5 years. Okay, so of course, it was a lot of fun. Learned a lot of new stuff. There was a lot of traveling involved. I was always traveling pan-India. Okay. But I always thought that teaching is my passion. Because even when I was doing my BCom, along with CA, initially, I had started taking tuitions at home. I should teach science students at that point in time. Of course, I was learning a lot of stuff in accounts and economics and other subjects that we had in CA and BCom. But I could not teach those subjects at that point in time because I was learning myself. But I used to teach physics, chemistry at the time when I was doing BCom. So I've been teaching from a very long time, and teaching is something which is very fulfilling. So that's when I decided that, I think now it's enough of corporate. I've got my exposure. Let me venture into teaching. So I've been teaching since 2013, and along with cost and management accounting for IPCC, I also handle business economics for CA Foundation. Okay, so post leaving Reliance Vision Express, I joined Samvit Academy. I'm sure all of you have heard Samvit Academy, Bangalore. So I've been handling classes with Samvit, and in early this year basically, we founded Advait Learning. Okay, so I'm one of the co-founders. And today, along with Advait Learning, we also have our new brand, which is called as Punarvas Jaikumar Classes, PJC, as we call it in its short form. And all our online classes and ventures are part of that particular brand. And very soon, we are also going to have a reading room for all of you, which goes by the name Swadhyaya, which is here only in Malleshwaram. So if anybody is interested in enrolling, you can enroll for that reading room. Okay, so now at Advait Learning, Punarvas Jaikumar sir? Yes, he's the law guru, correct? And do you know Chinmay Hegde sir? Yes, he's a multiple rank holder at all 3 levels. So all of us are associates at Advait Learning. So at Advait Learning, we want everybody to get the best of what you are coming here for. Okay, every class should be an enjoyable experience for all of you, and we here will try a level best to make it the best for everybody sitting here. Okay, so this was a short introduction about me and what I do. Okay, we will now look at what our paper is all about. Okay, which is cost and management accounting, which is paper 3. Okay, so guys, there are a lot of questions which come up when we think about our paper 3. Okay, what are those questions? Now, frequently asked questions, let's call them FAQs. Okay, so the first question that people ask about this particular paper, okay, is this a theory paper? Rather, if you want me to rephrase it, do I need to study theory for this paper? Okay, well, the answer is yes. Guys, so we have most of our paper in the form of practical problems, correct? So we're going to be solving a lot of problems in all our chapters. But can we ignore theory? No, we cannot ignore theory. To understand how to solve those problems, we obviously need to study theory. Otherwise, we cannot solve those problems, correct? And in our paper, we have one question which is a theory question. So obviously, you need to study theory. You cannot ignore theory. So when we are doing our chapters, I will run you through the entire theory that you need to know for the exam. So you don't have to worry about it. Okay. So this is the first question which is asked. Okay. Second question. How many of y'all don't like math? I think most of you don't like math, right? So in commerce, most students hate math, correct? So like I told you, I am a science student. I'm from the science background. Math is my favorite subject. Okay, that's probably because we've had math throughout and I've been using math everywhere. And cost and management accounting also uses math. But does it mean that you hate this subject? No. What math would you need for this subject? Everybody knows this, right? Correct? We've all gone to school. So this is the only math you need along with linear equations, simultaneous equations, ratios, percentages, fractions, and decimals. We know this much in math? Yes. So math is not going to trouble us. It's not going to trouble us at all. If you know this much, then this is the only math that you're going to be using in this particular subject. You don't have to be worried about math. We are not going to use trigonometry and calculus and all those complicated things in this particular subject. So now the question that is asked, is costing hard because of math? What will we answer? No, it is not difficult at all because of math. This is the basic stuff that we need to know when it comes to mathematics. So mathematics is not going to trouble us at all. Some of you may not know or may not be very well versed with these two topics. Well, you have to be well versed with these two topics because we are going to use them left, right and center in costing. Okay, so costing will be usage of mathematics using costing principles. So costing principles we are going to study in our class. Is that okay, guys? Everybody? So this is the third question that people ask. Now let's move on to the, second question that people ask. Let's move on to the third question. From where do we study costing? So guys, for this class, you are given 3 books. How many books? 3 books. So let's see what those books look like. The first book is known as Costopedia Theory 1.0, which looks like this. Can you all see it? Yes? So this book is designed by me, okay? And the inside of this book looks something like this. So we run from chapter to chapter. Okay, this is the first chapter. Can you all see? Yes? So this particular book basically takes care of all your theory. So if you study this much for the exam, theory, more than enough. Okay? So it's just hardcore theory. So once you come to class, once you understand the concepts, then you go back home, read those concepts from this book and understand them. And if you go and study for your exam from this book, more than enough. Okay? It's designed by me. Correct? So I've taken a lot of effort in designing this. It took me 4 months to plan this entire book. Okay? So this is your first book. Your second book. The name of your second book is Costopedia Question Bank 1.0. So that book looks like this. Can you all see? So this is the second book. This book consists of all the questions that we are going to be solving in class. So we are going to be solving almost 300 plus questions across all chapters in class. So either we will read up each question, we will discuss what it's trying to tell us and then solve it in class, or we will discuss the question and you will go back home, do it as homework and then come back the next day and then again discuss with me. Okay, so everything is going to be done here. It's not for practice. Okay, so this is going to be your second book, and the second book looks something like this. So if you see, this is the first chapter. These are the questions, so they run from page to page. So what I've also done is, in each chapter, I have separated the questions category wise, depending on what kind of adjustments we have in each question. So if you see here, see this B, simultaneous equations. Do you see it? Simultaneous equations. So all the questions under this category will have simultaneous equations. Correct? Similarly, if we move on to the next part, see here, category C, treatment of semi-variable cost, variable and fixed cost. So basically, when we are solving a question under this category, our focus is going to be on this particular header. Is that okay? So all questions have been divided into various segments like this in the question bank. Okay, so you have a fair idea of what we are basically focusing on. Okay, so this is my second book. And finally, my third book is called as the summary chart book. Correct, which looks something like this. I guess all of you have it. So my summary chart book, Costopedia, correct. So this particular chart book consists of incomplete charts. What? Incomplete charts. Now, this book is very, very important to us, because whatever concepts we study in class, we are going to jot that down in this book. Okay, so that's why I had asked you all to bring this particular marker. So this marker is Faber Castle fine print. Okay, this is a permanent marker. I need you all to have 4 different colors. Very, very important. Only if we have this particular marker, then we can write in the book. This company is the best. If you can buy another marker of another company but permanent marker and fine tip, then you can go ahead and buy it, not a problem. Okay, but if you use your ball pen or gel pen, then it will start smudging your book. Then it will look very untidy. So kindly do not use those pens. You have to use a permanent marker only. And while writing in the chart book, be very, very neat. Okay, so let's see how the chart book looks. So this is how your chart book will look. Just a small snippet. So if you see here, it's all incomplete with the body of the chart given to you, and we are going to fill it in class after understanding all the concepts. Okay, so now there could be instances where, say, I give you an example for a particular concept. Okay, you want to write that example down too, and you should, because examples are very good to understand a given concept. So what do? Where should you write that? You can make a note of it in your chart book on the side, because there's a lot of place given. But suppose you feel, no, I do not want to disrupt my chart book. I want it to be neat and clean. In that case, you can buy one more book and just jot down your notes or additional points in that book. It's up to you. So you can jot it down in the chart book, or you can jot it down in another notebook. It is your choice. Okay, but whatever it is, jot down all points. That is what matters, because you need to know those examples. With those examples, you will be able to retain your concepts. Is that okay, guys? Everybody? So this chart book is very, very important to us, because it's going to help us in understanding concepts. And one more very big advantage of this chart book is that once your charts are complete, you can use it for revision. So one day before the exam, you need to refresh all your concepts. Obviously, we're not going to have time to study 300 pages. Not possible. Correct? We're not going to have time to run through each and every question that we have solved. So what comes to our rescue? This chart book comes to our rescue. It contains each and every concept. If you study the chart book, it is more than sufficient for your revision. Revision of what? Revision of concepts. Does it mean I will just study this and go for the exam? No, that's not what I'm saying. You have to study everything that is done in class. But the chart book will help you in a quick revision, which is what we need one day before the exam. Obviously, one day before the exam, you would have obviously studied everything. Correct? You just need a refresher. So this chart book will help in refreshing your memory with respect to certain formulae, certain concepts. Correct? Because there are a lot of charts, a lot of diagrams. It will help you in retaining. It consists of a lot of mind maps. Okay? So these three books which we have compiled, okay, rather which I have compiled, okay, for this paper 3 should be more than enough for you to prepare for this particular examination. Okay, so theory has been taken care of, correct? Problems, we are going to solve more than 300 problems, so that's again not a problem, correct? Each and every variety of problem is covered. Okay, so I do not believe in doing the same problem over and over again with different kinds of numbers. There's no point. We're just wasting our time. The concept remains the same. If we do one problem, you've already understood the concept. No point doing another problem similar to that. Correct? So 300 different kinds of problems that we are going to solve. So it's going to help you in understanding a lot of concepts. Correct? So problems are taken care of. Apart from that, we also have summary charts. Correct? Which is going to help you in revision. So if you study this, you're sorted. For what? For the exam. So you don't need to worry at all. Okay, we are extensively going to cover the entire syllabus. Is that okay, everybody? Now, so this was my third question. Where do we study costing from? So, answered? Yes. Next. Question number 4. How to study costing? Big question. How to study costing? Answer is very simple. Very simple answer. Attend classes regularly. So if you come to class every day, you come to class on time, you're concentrating in... See, coming to class just for the heck of coming, no point. When I say come to classes, don't beat me by saying, ma'am, I'll walk through that door, come and sit here and sleep in front of you. When you're coming to class, you need to concentrate in those 3 or 4 hours that we have on hand. Correct? So you need to come to class regularly, you need to concentrate, you need to go back home and revise what was done. Correct? I know you all are very busy, probably more busy than we all are. Correct? You have college to attend, you have articleship to go to. Correct? You also have classes to attend, and you have so much homework to do. I understand. But this is CA, guys. Correct? Welcome to CA once again. We don't have a choice. Okay, this is the hard work that it requires. Okay, that's why it is one of the most prestigious courses of the country. Okay, so you have to put in that hard work. All of us went through it. All of us. Okay, and that's why the success feels so sweet. So you will realize it once you all are chartered accountants. Okay, so you have to go back home and revise. Okay, no choice. So this is the first thing. Second thing, do your homework. So there could be an instance where, you know, we are solving a particular problem, may not get over fully. There is an easier part to the problem. I may tell you guys, please go home and solve it, because I feel that you will be able to solve it. Then this should be solved at home, because then the next morning when we meet, we're not going to waste too much time on that particular part. So I will be assuming that obviously you all are professional students, correct? Not to be treated like nursery kids. You would have done your homework and come. We will quickly run through the concept and move on to the next problem. So homework has to be done. Okay, I don't want to treat you all like children. If it is not done, it is on you, not on me. Okay? So first, second, third, practice. So if you've spoken to your friends who have already studied this subject before, they will all tell you the same thing. Macha, or whatever you call your friends, initially when you go to class, whatever ma'am is teaching, I understand. Everything. Class is awesome. All problems I understand. But when I go back home and I sit to do the problem by myself, I don't know what to do. Everybody will face this problem. Mark my words, in the next 1 week, when we are done with the first chapter and we start solving problems and you actually start implementing this methodology, a lot of you are going to come to me after class gets over and say, ma'am, I don't know how to start. I understood everything that you've taught. All concepts are clear. I am very well versed with the entire topic. It was very good. But the minute I sit to solve a problem, I don't know how to start. I don't know what to do. Mark my words, at least 5 people will come to me with this particular problem. Okay, that time I'll tell you all. So, how do we get over this? So, this is going to be most of our problems. Okay, everybody is going to face this problem. How do I start the problem? This is the primary problem of costing. In accounts, we know how to start the problem. Correct? You have chapters like partnership, amalgamation, whatever. There's a procedure. Correct? It's just that your balance sheet doesn't tally. Correct? Because you would have made some mistake. Some adjustment would have gone wrong. But at least you know how to start. Correct? You have a direction. In costing, the problem is that direction is not there. Why? Because every problem in itself is very unique. it is very rare to find two problems which are absolutely similar. Something will be there in each problem. Okay, there is no set procedure. So all problems are unique. Like in amalgamation, you know, first you have to do this, then you have to do this, then you have to do this, then come to the balance sheet, and finally it has to tally. In costing, there are no such procedures. The problem is in front of you. You have to figure out what to do. So starting the problem will always be a problem. Okay. So what do we do? How do we solve this problem of ours? The answer lies in practice. The more you practice, the lesser you will face that problem. Okay. Of course, initially you will face the problem because it's a new subject. Okay, the foundation students sitting here have no clue about this subject. The IPCC students who are direct entry students may have studied this in BCom, correct? But when you're in BCom, the level is quite less compared to CA. So this problem is going to be everybody's problem. So the only way to overcome is practice, practice and practice. You have to blindly keep practicing as many problems as possible. Only then you will not have this starting problem ever again. Okay. So this is my third point on how to study. Okay. My next point. Guys, presentation. What do you mean by presentation? Now, our costing paper is going to be more practical than theory. Correct? So, when you're jotting down your answers in your answer script, you need to present them well. Because I have seen a lot of students who are extremely brilliant. Okay, they understand all the concepts really well. They have that clarity, conceptual clarity, but still they end up not scoring. Why? It is because of this fourth point, presentation. Their presentation is not good. So either your handwriting is dirty, illegible, the person correcting your paper cannot understand what you have written, the difference between A and O, E and C, nobody knows what you have written. So if they don't have clarity on what you've written, obviously you're going to lose marks. Correct? So that could be one reason. Another reason could be, so first one was dirty handwriting. Rather untidy paper. Okay. Next, guys, overwriting. A lot of us have this dirty habit of overwriting. You know how? Say the answer that we have got is 367. Oh, then I realize it's not 6, it's 8. So what do? This is what most of us do. Correct? Bad. Don't do it. What are you supposed to do in this case? Scratch it out, 387. Simple. Okay. So overwriting. Okay. Things like, okay, say the answer is 387. Oh, sorry. I have written 387. Say the answer is 3687. Oh, so what do? Okay. Correct? A lot of us do this also. Correct? Wrong. Scratch it out. 3687. Okay, you have to keep these things in mind. Okay. Then things like headings, subheadings. You are putting an account in place. So you write the heading for the account. Profit and loss account for the year. So and so. That heading has to be there. Particulars, amount. Particulars, amount. It has to be there. Units. Now say I asked you to find out how many units were manufactured. Okay, by the producer. So you give me the correct answer. Ma'am, 100 units were manufactured. But while writing, you just say 100. 100 what? Donkeys? Monkeys? You? What? 100 units. Or if I ask you, guys, what is the cost of this particular project? So you calculate and tell me, ma'am, it's 1 lakh. Okay, 1 lakh. 1 lakh what? 1 lakh rupees. So these units are very, very important. Everything has to be there. If you're putting a formula in place, before substituting in the formula, write the formula. If you're using a syllable in that, explain what it means. A stands for this, B stands for this. So the presentation is very, very important. If you do not present your paper properly, you are 100% going to lose marks. So, should we worry about this? No. Why? Because I'm here. We are going to work on this presentation aspect. So, every problem that we solve in class, henceforth, we will keep in mind that we are solving it for our exam. Okay, so the way we write answers in class, that is how you are to write answers in the exam. Very, very important. So we have to lay emphasis on this particular part of costing. Okay, the presentation has to be good. And some of you, if you have bad, dirty handwriting, then the only solution to that is you'll have to improve, obviously. I cannot do magic. So you have to improve your handwriting. It cannot be illegible. Okay. So one basic fundamental that we need to keep in mind while presenting our paper is that always remember, the assumption that we make is that when I've written my paper, the person who's correcting my paper will know what I've written. No. Our assumption should be the other way around. Always remember that the person who's correcting your paper knows nothing about costing. And by looking at your paper, they're going to understand costing. So how are you going to make them understand? That's how you should write your paper. So obviously you cannot miss steps, no? All steps have to be there. So you have to be very, very careful about your presentation bit. Always think the person correcting my paper knows nothing about costing. Because of my paper, they will understand what costing means. Then you will not miss out. So your assumption should be the other way around. That's the fundamental. Okay. So this is my 4th FAQ. How to study costing. Okay. Now, what is our methodology going to be? How are we going to go about this subject? Okay, so first, always we concentrate on concepts. Our concepts should be very, very strong. We should be sharpening our concepts in every way possible. Then we move on to the problems. Okay, so those concepts are going to be applied into our problems. This we will fill our chart book as and when we are understanding the concepts. Any additional points that you have, you may make a note of it in your chart book, or you may make a note of it in another book that you will be using. Okay, but both have to be studied together. Okay, problems we will be solving from our book. Okay, and for this again you need one more notebook. Always keep your theory separate from your problems, because then when you want to revise, you'll have to sit and search through. Not required. Keep a separate book. Is that okay? So we'll be solving our problems. Either they will be classwork or they will be homework. Okay, but mostly we will try to solve almost all problems in class only. Okay, so this 3 hours that we get on a daily basis, we are going to use for getting maximum efficiency in class. Okay, so that your work at home is minimal. You just have to go back home and revise as much as possible. Okay, because like we said, you're very busy. Okay, then my problems that I've included, okay, will cover problems from RTP, will cover problems from all your MTPs, they may be past examination questions, okay, and they also may be some additional questions that I may have included from a given source, because probably the question is challenging. Okay, so do not worry about the syllabus. It has been extensively covered. Okay, you do not have to worry about anything. Like I told you, different kinds of problems have been covered across all segments in all chapters. Okay, this class is going to be for almost 135 hours. Okay, so you'll be meeting me every day till we finish these many hours together. Okay, so please bear with me. And all my classes are going to be in English. Okay, so you don't have to worry about that as well. Okay, so this is going to be my methodology. If anybody has any questions, you can go ahead and ask me. Is there anything that anybody would like to ask? Anything you want to know? Anything you want to say? No? Sure? Shall we move on then? So we will now move on to the introduction of our chapter 1. Okay, but I just realized, before we move on to chapter 1, let me give you a small introduction to all the chapters in costing. Okay, so what is the syllabus like? How many chapters are there? Okay, just a small overview so that we are aware. Okay, so overview of cost and management accounting. Guys, we have 14 chapters. Now, how many of you here are from the old syllabus? Nobody. All are new syllabus. Okay. So, you know, right, there's a change in syllabus because all of you are in the new syllabus. So, old versus new, what is the difference? Hardly anything. Okay, there isn't much difference. In the old syllabus, we had 13 chapters. In the new syllabus, we have 14 chapters. Which means one additional chapter has been introduced for the new syllabus, guys. Okay, do we need to worry about it? No, no need to worry. Okay, now what are these 14 chapters? So I usually divide this entire subject into 3 legs. Okay, leg 1, leg 2, leg 3. Okay, so leg 1 consists of the following chapters. So my 5 chapters in leg 1 will be cost sheet introduction and basics, which is what we're going to start off today. Okay, material, labor, overheads, integrated and non-integrated accounts. Okay, I put them in the first part or in leg 1 because they're all connected to each other. Okay, so as we run from one chapter to another, you will understand how they are connected. Is that okay? Next, leg 2. Leg 2 is all your methods of costing. Okay, so it starts off with these are all my Methods of costing. So what are they? Job and batch costing, contract costing, process costing. JPBP stands for joint product, byproduct costing, service costing. Okay, so this is part of leg 2. You will understand why, how, when, all of that later. I'm just making you run through all the chapters that we have in our syllabus. Okay, and part 3 is all your techniques of costing. So again, you have standard costing, marginal costing, budgetary control, and ABC, which is activity based costing. This is the new chapter that has been introduced in the new syllabus. This was not there as part of the old syllabus officially. You never know with the institute what may come and what may not. Correct? So these 14 chapters are part of my entire paper 3 cost and management accounting. Okay, is there any chapter that we can leave? No, we cannot leave anything. Now, because our paper comes for 100 marks, questions are given from everywhere. In the old syllabus, this paper was for 50 marks only, because it was combined with your paper 8, which is financial management and economics. That time economics was not there. So paper 3 was cost and financial management. So that time when it would come for 50 marks, you could still leave out chapters. But now it's impossible to leave out chapters in our new syllabus, because from every chapter something will come. So we have to study everything thoroughly. We cannot leave out anything. Okay, so don't worry, we will get used to it. Okay, it will take some time, a couple of days, and then you will be very, very used to this subject. Okay, so this is the entire syllabus. Anything you want to ask? Any doubts? So now shall we proceed to chapter 1? Okay.